world, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning into episode 1 of Spooky Story Sundays. If you don't know me, my name is Olivia.Hotchkiss, and I've decided to start a new series where every Sunday I will upload a video of me doing my makeup while talking to you guys about a ghost story. SARIAN is the one who heavily inspired this. She typically talks about murder mysteries while doing her makeup every Monday. If you want to check out her channel, I will link it down below. She has talked about all this cool, epic true crime, and I just love her videos. If you guys actually want some of your ghost stories to be featured, I would love to talk about them here on my YouTube channel every Sunday. I will tag my Instagram down below, and all you have to do is just DM me your story, and then I will talk about it here on Sundays. In today's episode, we are talking about the haunting in Connecticut. It's going to be very hard for me to do my makeup while telling this story, so I hope that my makeup is done. This video talks about blood, gore, sexual violence, and possession. Your discretion is advised. Okay, there's a movie that actually came out about this story back in 2009, so if you want to go check that out, you can. It's a very, very loosely based story, but surprisingly, a lot actually did happen in real life. And one of them is when the mom mops the floor. That actually happens. This story takes place in 1986. On June 30th, to be exact, is the date that the Snedeker family decided that they were going to move in to their new home located in Southington, Connecticut. So they needed to move into this home in order for them to be closer to their son's cancer treatment, their eldest son, Philip, because they didn't want to drive like 3 hours. And they found this perfect home. It was the perfect size. They moved in immediately, and they were in love for the first month. But after a while, they started to notice some things were off with their so-called special home. For example, they would notice lights flickering in the hallway. They would notice temperature changes in rooms, like very, very drastic temperature changes, for just an example. But they didn't think much of it. They were just like, oh, it's probably just an old house thing, real finicky, you know? So they just moved on with their lives and their day. Oh, take note also, their home was previously a funeral home. It was served as, I'm going to pronounce this very wrong, but it was served as a Halan funeral home. Carmen, the mother, claimed to have no idea that this was a funeral home. She claimed to have never been told. So she was pretty peeved when she found out that it was a funeral home because, like, to her surprise, it's scary to find out that you live amongst dead people, you know? Not great. She found out that it was a funeral home because in the basement, she said that she found strange-looking tools that appeared to belong to, I'm going to botch this word as well, morticians, which if you don't know what that is, it's just the people who make the bodies look all pretty and dolled up for an open casket funeral. So needless to say, she found these tools in the basement, which was kind of like a moment. And then what kind of, I think, made her put the pieces together was she found pictures throughout the home of dead bodies. You know in movies, the dead bodies when they're on the table and they're covered in the blanket and then their toe has a tag or their finger has a tag or their ear would have a tag. She was finding pictures of bodies with tags on them like that, covered in the blanket. And so she was like, this is really weird. I would be like, why am I seeing this? So found just little like knickknacks, I guess, that belonged, or possessions that belonged to the deceased. So I guess things that just weren't returned to the family were just kept throughout the home. So imagine you're just like going through one of your drawers, or one of the drawers that came with the home, and you just find like a really pretty necklace, and then you wear it for like a month, and they're like, yeah, that belonged to someone who was murdered in like 17 BCE, you know? I'd be like, oh, that's frightening. No, thank you. I think that's when she determined that it was in fact a funeral home, because she did then reach out to the previous owners and she was like, I'm finding these really creepy things all over my home. Explain yourself. And then that's when they were like, oh, well, we told you it was a funeral home. And she was like, well, no, you didn't. Needless to say, she eventually succumbed to the idea. She was okay with it being a funeral home because she had to be for her son. It wasn't until her son came forward, Philip, her eldest son, and said that he was seeing figures walking throughout the halls. He was seeing and hearing people like talking, and his mom was like, you're crazy. Take note as well, Philip lived in, like, his bedroom was in the basement, and the basement used to be the housing unit, so to speak, for the dead bodies the day before the funeral. It was a casket room. Probably saw dead bodies crawling up walls in the casket room. That would be freaking terrifying. So needless to say, his mom didn't believe him, and so she took him, of course, to the hospital to be like, my son says he's seeing stuff. I'm pretty sure that she thought that it was just a result of his chemotherapy, or perhaps the medication that he was on to stop, to like ease his pain. She was like, he's just seeing things because of this. So she took him to the doctor, and to her surprise, the doctor said that the kid was normal. There was nothing wrong with Philip. And so the mom, I don't know, I guess she just was like, oh, okay, he's telling me that he's seeing things, I'm just not gonna believe him. Who cares? And just told him to take his medication, basically. She didn't believe Philip until it started happening to her. And when it started happening to her, I mean, it happened pretty fast, and it happened like all at once. So it started with dishes. She would be setting the table for dinner, and she would go get her kids and be like, dinner's ready. And then when all the kids got to the kitchen, there would be no dishes on the kitchen table. Right after Carmen, the mother, set the table. They would all be put perfectly, like, in the drawers, put away. And so Carmen was kind of like, I set the table, I don't understand, why is this happening? And then one day, this one will get me. I would, honest to God, burn the home. I don't know why she didn't. But she was mopping one day, and she went to go and change over the mop and put it in the water and then drain it out. She said that when she went to go look back at the floor, it was red. It was blood red. There was literally, she was mopping the floor with blood. She said, and I quote, I was worried that I was going to damage the floor. I swear, if it ever happens and my mop water turns to blood, I am dropping the mop on the floor, and I am going to grab a match and light the house on fire. Just drive away as far as possible and never come back. I would not be worried that I damaged my hardwood floor. No. What? She also stated that she would be walking around the house, and certain areas of the house would just reek of rotting flesh. Rotting flesh. And she was like, it's normal. It's probably just my plumbing. That's fine. Okay. If I smelled rotting flesh in my house, I would, you guessed it, burn it down. Ghost sightings started to get even worse, and it got to a point where Carmen and her husband stated that they had been raped and sodomized by the demons in the home. Like, things were getting bad. They didn't end up calling literally anyone. All of this was happening, and they didn't call even the cops. Like, they finally called the police when their son Philip started to act very out of character. Philip started to, like, attack his cousin with the intent to rape her. Philip started to attack Carmen, his mom, and so Carmen called the police on her son, Philip, and he ended up being sent to a mental institution because his mom was like, you need help. And so when he was sent to the mental institution, the results came back saying that he was in fact schizophrenic. And so the mom was like, okay, cool, we figured out what's wrong with our son. He'll stay in the hospital until he is mentally well enough to come home, where he won't try and rape his cousin, stuff like that. And something that the parents noticed, and same with the doctors, was that every time Philip would go home, he would act out of character, but every time he was at the hospital, he would act very much like, not very much, but he would act a little bit more like Philip would usually act. So that was another thing worth pointing out, was that Philip acted rather bizarre when he was at home. The mom Carmen, she didn't end up calling paranormal investigators, like the rotting flesh and the mop water changing to blood. That wasn't convincing enough. Oh no. It took her showering, and it took the shower curtain wrapping itself around her neck and actually strangling and trying to hang her, where she was like, maybe I'll call someone, Her niece ended up having to get involved and help her, because the niece said when she walked in, the mom was like just standing there. It was pulling her up, and she couldn't breathe. The reason why Carmen said that she was unable to fall or get it off of her neck was because it felt like someone was around her, holding her up and also pressing against her, preventing her from really moving. She just felt like there was a person there. And that, I think, is what scared her, because she called paranormal investigators after that. And the paranormal investigators' names were Ed and Lorraine Warren. And Ed and Lorraine Warren came to take a look at the house, and it didn't take them very long to determine that, yes, the house is in fact haunted. Crazy, right? So they decided to do some further digging into the house, and determine, like, why is it haunted? Why are these ghosts mad? Why are they attacking Philip? Like, and Carmen, like, what's going on? They soon discovered, by doing further research, that there was an old, the Mordecars, the people who clean the bodies, there was an old one who worked for the funeral home. He performed necrophilia on the bodies after he had got them all beautified, so to speak. That's pretty bad. That's rhyme or reason for ghosts to, like, be angry, I think. I would agree. So Ed and Lorraine were like, we need to perform an exorcism on this home, because they determined that the home was so haunted. They said that creatures were crawling, like demons were crawling through the walls, basically. Like poltergeist type stuff. Fun fact, the Snedeker family actually chose to live there for 2 years. 2 full years after Ed and Lorraine told them, demons are living in your walls. You know, I would not make that. I would not. Maybe I'd move. Maybe. Just maybe. I would move. But needless to say, they didn't. Ed and Lorraine did, in fact, end up doing an exorcism on the home. They stated that they did, in fact, clear all of the demons out of the home, and that all of them were sent back to the other side. They were able to pass freely. A lot of people, however, state that the ghosts do, in fact, still remain in the home. A lot of people, I think, have resided in the home until its current owners. Its current owners I don't know how long exactly they've been living, I think since 2010, but I'm not entirely sure. After the exorcism was performed, the Snedeker family decided to live in the home for another 2 years after everything. And I just think that's complete insanity. Your walls smell like rotting flesh. You were told you have demons crawling through them. Do you think the exorcism did anything? No, I don't think so. The new family that is residing in the home, they claim that the house isn't in fact haunted. Claim that, I saw on 2 different sites 2 different stories, but they claim that the Snedeker family made up the entire thing for money. Maybe it was to help, maybe like cancer treatments were becoming too expensive for their son, that was their guess, or they just wanted fame, clout, so to speak, from a horror story. That's one site that I saw. I heard that's what the new residents think. But then I also saw on another source that the newcomers to the home, the people who have been residing there since 2010, claim that they're haunted daily. I would like to believe that the Snedeker family did not make it up, and it did in fact all happen the way that I described it to you. I'm gonna go ahead and put on my lashes, and then I will come back to you guys for my final thoughts on the story. Okay guys, well, I put my lashes on, and I did my hair, and I put some earrings in. I'm all ready. I did a pretty simple makeup look. I don't know if you guys even saw. I don't even think I saw what I was doing to myself. I was really invested in this story. But yeah, I did, I don't know, just some eyeliner. I put on, if you're wondering what these lashes are, they're my lashes, Whisker, Hotkiss Cosmetics. I'll put the Instagram down below. I do think that everything that happened. I don't think that they were making it up for money. Tell me what you guys think. Comment down below. Do you guys believe in ghost stories? Did you guys enjoy the first Spooky Story Sunday? I'll get better at timing, doing my makeup with talking about the story. That's for sure. That was something I had to get used to. But hopefully I'll find better stories for you. I will definitely talk about stories like Annabelle, The Conjuring, stuff like that. Thank you so much for tuning in to the first ever episode. I really hope that you guys enjoyed. Tune in every Sunday and I will tell a ghost story. If you want your ghost story to be featured, just DM me on Instagram. I'll put my Instagram down below. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Like this video if you liked it, and put on that notification bell if you want to know when I post more, because I will hopefully in future be here on more days than just Sunday. Guys, I love you all. Bye.